The story begins with a simple truth. My grandfather Earl Briggs bought 14 acres of rough Ohio land in 1961. Nothing fancy, just second-growth timber, creek mud, and a corner of Harwood County nobody else wanted. He built the house with his own hands, poured the basement, framed the walls, and carved out a gravel road himself. 3/8 of a mile from County Route 14 back to the flat where the house sits. He recorded it private, black ink on courthouse paper, and for 60 years nobody questioned that it belonged to us. When Earl died, it passed to my father. When my father died at 62, heart attack, too many cigarettes, too much stress, it passed to me. I was 34. I came home, set up a small excavation business in the pole barn, and planned to spend the rest of my life minding my own business on my own land. Then Harwood Pines happened. Late 90s, 64 homes carved out of the adjacent property. Vinyl shutters, 2-car garages, nice enough. Their own entrance, their own asphalt loop, their own HOA. None of it touched me until the developer Preston Havford, now retired somewhere warm in Scottsdale, quietly told early buyers they could cut through my gravel road for a shortcut to the county route. No easement filed, no conversation with my grandfather, no paperwork at all. Just a handshake deal about land that wasn't his. For years, people used it. I put up signs, waved them off, figured it would sort itself out. I was busy building a business. That was my mistake. Things changed when Renata Voss became HOA president. Retired HR lady from Columbus, moved in with her husband Gerald, took over the board like it was a military campaign. Lanyards, color-coded binders, newsletters with subject lines like Community Standards Update. Please read before trash day. She looked at my road and saw something the community needed. One spring, she pushed through a vote, at a meeting I wasn't invited to, that declared my private road a shared community easement. They wrote it into their own HOA documents. Sent me a letter informing me the road was now a community asset and that restricting access will be handled through appropriate legal channels. I read it twice, then called Harriet Sloan. 26 years practicing property law in Ohio. Compact, no nonsense, doesn't suffer fools. She read the letter, made a short, amused sound through her nose, and said, "They recorded this in their own HOA documents." That's it. Their newsletter binder. Not the county, not a court. This is a strongly worded opinion, Colt. They have no easement. She explained prescriptive easements in Ohio require open, notorious, hostile, adverse, continuous use for 21 years. Adverse is the key. If the owner permits it, puts up signs, waves people off, it's permissive. Permissive use kills the claim. My grandfather had signs. I had signs. Use was tolerated at best. Harriet drafted a cease and desist. 3 typed paragraphs, certified mail. They ignored it. Renata sent back 4 pages citing Ohio code she'd misread, claiming 20 years of use gave them a prescriptive right. She filed a zoning complaint saying I was creating a public safety hazard. Residents kept driving through every morning, 6:45, gravel crunching, diesel rumble, exhaust mixing with wet leaves. Sheriff wouldn't act, said it was civil. Deputy who came out lived 3 houses from Renata. I started logging trespasses with trail cameras. 847 vehicle transits in 2 weeks, plates, and timestamps. Then the invoice arrived. $340 for road maintenance and shared infrastructure fees for the year, payable in 30 days. I framed it. It hangs in the pole barn next to a photo of Earl breaking ground. One Saturday in June, about a dozen residents marched down the road with marigolds, cedar mulch, and a hand-painted sign. Harwood Pines Community Path. They planted flowers, spread mulch, staked the sign like a flag. I gave them 45 minutes, then got on the tractor, yanked the post out roots and all, loaded it in the truck, photographed everything with timestamps. Left the marigolds. They hadn't done anything wrong. Not everyone in the subdivision was on Renata's side. A retired football coach named Warren Steck called to say he'd voted against the designation and had minutes to prove it. Dolores Farr, who worked in county land records, looked up my deed and said Renata was playing a dangerous game. A landscaper named Fetch Calloway apologized because his wife had helped plant the marigolds without knowing the full story. Ranata tried the emergency access angle next. Posted in the community Facebook group that I was planning to block the only secondary emergency route, that children could die in a fire if the main entrance was blocked. Local fire chief reached out, apologetic. I sent him the county's official emergency routing maps, 2 certified access routes, neither mine. Deed copy, attorney letter, note that my road had never been designated. Chief called back the next day. Whoever told them this wasn't being straight. She pivoted to the County Planning Commission, petitioned for eminent domain on grounds of public necessity. Problem, Gerald Voss, her husband, sat on the Planning Commission subcommittee that would review it. Conflict of interest, Harriet said, and if he didn't recuse, grounds to void anything they did. I had the property line surveyed. $800, red flags every few feet in the clay. Best money I ever spent. Then Dolores called. She'd gone through the 1997 subdivision approval file. Condition 7C required the developer to provide a certified secondary vehicle access route before final plat. Preston Havford submitted a compliance affidavit in 1998 saying it was in place. He listed my grandfather's private gravel road, parcel number and all, as that route. County signed off. 64 homes sold on that representation. No easement, no consent, no legal instrument. Fraudulent affidavit. Everything the HOA claimed rested on that lie. Harriet filed an amended civil complaint tying the easement claim to the fraud. We sent a conflict of interest disclosure to the county attorney and the newspapers. We sent the HOA a demand. Rescind the designation in your governing documents within 30 days or face expanded action, including punitive damages. Warren Steck pulled minutes. Ranata had called the easement vote at a special session with less than the required 72-hour notice. Procedural violation. Vote invalid even on their own terms. Fetch recorded a conversation. Ranata offered him the HOA landscaping contract if he distanced himself from me. Attempted witness interference. Dex Hamill built the gate. 14-gauge steel, matte black, double swing, 16 feet wide, heavy-duty hinges, padlock receiver, small welded panel. Private property. No trespassing. Briggs Lot 7 Parcel 09-4. He added a subtle laser-cut outline of Ohio on the crossbar because it needed something. Ranata filed for a temporary restraining order to stop installation. Harriet walked into chambers with the full packet. Fraud affidavit, conflict filing, recorded conversation, survey. Judge asked the HOA attorney if his client knew her claim traced to a fraudulent document. Attorney asked for recess to call Ranata. True denied. Next morning fetch, and I set posts in frozen gravel before dawn. Fast set concrete, headlamps, thermoses of coffee. Hung the gate at 7:30. Padlock clicked shut at 8:30. Clean metallic sound. Best thing I'd heard in 3 years. First vehicle came around the curve. Silver SUV, stopped dead. Driver stared at the gate, stared at the sign, stared like the road might have moved. It hadn't. SUV reversed slowly away. That night the community center was packed. 60-some homeowners, folding chairs, fluorescent lights, anger in every direction. Ranata at the front with her binder. I sat between Harriet and Fetch. Petra Mosley from the register was there with her notebook. Warren Steck near the front, ready. Harriet asked for 5 minutes. Warren cited bylaws, gave her the floor. She spoke for 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Laid out the 1998 affidavit, the chain of reliance on fraud, the denied TRO, the recorded interference, Gerald's conflict disclosure. Never raised her voice. Room went quiet 90 seconds in. She placed the settlement demand on the table. Rescind the designation, remove signage, pay $12,000 in legal fees, acknowledge the road is private. Sign tonight, civil action suspended. Don't sign, register publishes Monday, fraud complaint to Attorney General Tuesday. Ranata said, you can't. Gerald's voice from the back. Ranata. Quiet. She looked at him. He wasn't looking back. Their attorney whispered. She picked up the pen. Signed at 8:14 p.m. Gerald resigned from the Planning Commission 2 weeks later. Ranata didn't run for re-election. Warren Steck won president with 61 of 64 votes. New board recorded the road private, posted correction. Register ran the story. 60-year family property rights, fraudulent developer approval, misled community. Fair piece. Ranata wasn't quoted positively. Attorney General opened an inquiry into the 1998 affidavit. County triggered it after the article. What happens to Preston Halford in Scottsdale isn't my business. The gate's been up almost 2 years. Key-coded lock now. Simpler in winter. Codes to 4 people. Warrant for real community talk. The neighbor behind me with legitimate AG access, recorded agreement. Chief Tuttle for actual emergencies. Fetch because he helped hang it. Leftover settlement money funded the first phase of county records digitization. Historical deeds online so people can see the truth from their kitchen table. Already stopped 3 disputes before they started. I set up a small annual scholarship at the county vocational school in Earl's name. 1 kid per year in trades. Welding, heavy equipment, electrical. A running start like the one he gave himself. The marigolds came back the next spring. I left them. They hadn't done anything wrong.